Picture this. It's the early 1930s, the Great Depression. America is on its knees. People are cutting every possible expense, yet they still yearn for a tiny spark of joy, a small, affordable treat. Enter Herman Lay, a young salesman navigating the dusty roads of the American South in a beat-up car. He's selling groceries to small corner stores, literally living out of his vehicle. One day, he notices something simple: potato chips. They're sliced by hand in local diners, fried in small batches, and served as a humble side dish. A light bulb goes off. Herman realizes if he can just package this fragile, salty snack and get it to people, he could transform a random side dish into a real business. This is the story of how a handful of chips from a car trunk became a global empire. Herman started small. He loaded boxes of chips into his trunk himself, driving from one store to the next, personally convincing owners to give his new snack a sliver of shelf space. By day, he was a salesman. By night, he was a warehouse worker, a bookkeeper, and a delivery driver, all rolled into one. He slept in cheap motels, but he held on tightly to his vision. Slowly, his name started to mean something. The surname Lay appeared on the bag, and people began to recognize the simple yellow packaging and that familiar, satisfying taste. By the middle of the 20th century, Lay's had done something remarkable. It became one of the very first potato chip brands to expand beyond a single city and conquer entire regions of the United States. But success attracts competition. As Lay's was rising in the South, another giant was stirring in Texas, the Frito Company. They were the masters of corn snacks, and they had national ambitions, too. A quiet war for supermarket shelves began. Who could offer retailers the better price? Who had the more appealing product lineup? This is the point where many businesses crumble. The pressure of managing warehouses, debt, logistics, and retail demands can crush an empire built by a single person. Herman Lay faced a critical choice: keep fighting alone, or take a monumental risk and merge with a rival to become stronger together. In 1961, he made his move. Lay's and Frito merged to create Frito-Lay, a new snack titan with both potato and corn products under one roof. It was a massive gamble. It meant less personal control, a new corporate structure, and working with former competitors. But this bold decision was precisely what saved the business from stagnation. It unlocked access to a massive distribution network and created a powerhouse that was too big to ignore. Just a few years later, another opportunity knocked. This time, it was PepsiCo. The beverage giant was searching for the perfect snacks to pair with its drinks, aiming to capture more of the consumer shopping cart. The deal between PepsiCo and Frito-Lay in 1965 was a game changer. It turned the company into a key part of a global food and beverage empire, opening doors to dozens of new countries. Lay's was no longer just chips from a car trunk. It was now a global brand, destined for supermarket shelves everywhere, sitting right next to a bottle of Pepsi. The drink and chips combo became an international standard, and PepsiCo's production and logistics network allowed Lay's to scale beyond anything Herman could have imagined back in his dusty car. But global expansion brought a new challenge. You can't just sell the same chip to everyone. The next level of growth was about adaptation, about understanding what each culture loves to taste. Lay started to experiment, and this is where the brand's genius for localization truly shined. In Asia, they introduced bold flavors like wasabi, spicy seafood, and hot pot. In Europe, they leaned into classics like rich cheese, sour cream, and onion, and paprika. In Latin America, they captured the vibrant zest of hot chili and lime. By the mid-2020s, Lay's was available in more than 200 countries and territories. The number of local and limited edition flavors exploded into the hundreds. Each new bag became a miniature cultural story, the taste of a country, a city, or even a season, often created in collaboration with a famous chef or artist. However, as the brand grew bigger, so did the scrutiny. A cultural shift was underway. People started to worry more about their health. Words like calories, salt, and fat entered the mainstream conversation, and fast food and snacks came under fire. For Lay's, this was a brand new battlefield. It was no longer enough to just fry and salt like before. The recipes, the oils, and the entire approach to ingredients had to evolve. The company poured millions into research and technology. They worked to reduce trans fats, upgraded their production lines to be more efficient and healthier, and launched new product lines like lower-fat baked chips. They started highlighting more natural ingredients. Alongside this internal change, they refreshed their look. In the 2020s, the brand underwent its biggest packaging redesign in nearly a century. simplifying the logo and putting the focus squarely on the journey from potato to chip. To prove this was more than just marketing spin, Lay's started pulling back the curtain, showing customers the entire product journey. They called it from field to bag. They wanted to show the world that their chips started as real potatoes grown on real farms. In many countries, the brand began partnering directly with local farmers, buying their crops and proudly stating that the chips were made from potatoes grown on our land, not from some anonymous global factory. This field-to-bag story became a modern legend. It showed that a regular potato from a local farm could become part of a global phenomenon when hard work, technology, and vision came together. Lay's began telling the stories of its farmers, engineers, and food technologists, revealing the team of passionate people behind every single bag. So, what's the lesson here? It all began with one man, one car, and a trunk full of chips on a dusty road during a time of crisis. Today, Lay's is one of the most recognizable brands on the planet, present on nearly every continent, with an incredible variety of flavors tailored for every culture. This story is about so much more than just potato chips. It's a powerful reminder that tough times, a depression, a crisis, fierce competition, can be the perfect launchpad for an empire. It shows that the courage to partner up, to merge, even with a former rival, can be far more powerful than fighting alone for the last customer. And it proves the importance of being willing to change, from basic oil and salt to healthier recipes, from an old logo to modern design, from a local product to a global one that still deeply respects local tastes. Herman Lay started with a trunk and a handful of chips. You may not have a factory, a corporation, or a global network yet, but you do have what he started with: an idea, persistence, and the will to keep driving when everything around you looks like a crisis. The real question isn't how big your start is. The real question is, how far are you willing to go with your own trunk idea? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.